Hi, I'm Brian Nanninga, the lead pastor at LifeChurch Livonia.
Hi, I'm Dave Walter. I'm the chairman of the leadership team at LifeChurch Livonia and an urgent care physician.
By now, many of you have received a letter from the church indicating kind of what LifeChurch Livonia is going to be doing during our response to COVID-19. So I wanted to reiterate a couple of things to you that also came in the letter. The decision that LifeChurch Livonia has made moving forward is that we will not be holding our large group services until further notice. I want you to know that we made that decision out of an abundance of caution, but also out of an overabundance of love, of care for our community, especially for those who are most vulnerable within our community, and to help do our part as good citizens of our city to flatten the curve with regards to the contagion of COVID-19 and to prevent the passing of that virus to people from within our own church. And we did that before the state made the decision to close the schools. But then that decision was reinforced by the governor's decision. And so because we are renters from a school, the decision for when we go back and begin church again is going to be made pretty easy for us because we will continue to be just going to you through online means, streaming to you on Sunday mornings until school resumes. And so at this point, the date has been set as April 5th, but we don't know whether that will be extended. So just stay tuned. We'll continue to give you updates as we get more information and let you know what we're going to do. But I want you to know that we're not going to start meeting on Sunday mornings together until we believe that it's safe to do so, and until we believe that it's the right thing to do, not only for our church, but also for our community at large. And so I'd love for Dave to talk a little bit about things you can be doing in the meantime at home and in your personal life to really care well for yourself and care well for your community.
All right, thanks, Brian. I do want to underscore that we made the decision on canceling our large group services because we want to be good citizens in the community. We want to protect the health and safety of our own people, but also the people in our community that might come across our doors.
Yeah.
And when we do resume those services, we are going to be careful to be putting into practice modifications and cleaning and following best practice so that we will continue going forward to do what's best for our people.
Absolutely.
In terms of the realities in which we live, it's part of my practice every single day. I would just like to encourage folks to do what you already know to do in terms of personal care. Wash your hands, wash your hands, wash your hands. 20-second rule. I've heard people say, recite the alphabet, sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. I've heard people say, recite or sing the doxology or the fight song of your favorite college team, which you can no longer watch, but at least you can remember their song.
Absolutely.
But that does kill the germs, no question. If you're feeling sick, stay home. If you feel like you're getting very sick, call your physician or call the emergency room before you go there, because we're in the process of setting up screening stations and kind of unusual but alternate ways of getting people tested faster in order to keep sick people from well people and keep the mixing and the spreading of the disease. I would encourage you to not just look after the health of your own family, but think of ways that you can minister to those around you.
Yeah.
We're going to have friends and neighbors who may not be able to get out and get the food they need or the medicine they need. And the church has historically, during times of health issues, whether it be plague or leprosy or typhoid or flu, been a tremendous testimony. And it's an ability to minister the love of Christ to the people around us. And do it safely, but be open to ministering in that way. And one other thing, when you're with someone, even if you're around someone who has the disease, if you're keeping that 5 to 6 feet distance from them, even if they're coughing towards you, the respiratory droplets are heavy, they're going to drop to the ground, and they're not going to be putting you at risk. Use precautions, but we don't have to completely isolate ourselves from the world and people we're seeking to minister to.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to read to you again the verse that I put into my letter from yesterday because I think it's really applicable to where we're at right now. It's from Philippians chapter 4, starting in verse 6. Do not be anxious about anything. Instead, in every situation, through prayer and petition with thanksgiving, tell your requests to God. And the peace of God, that surpasses all understanding will guard your hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. Finally, brothers and sisters, whatever is true, whatever is worthy of respect, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if something is excellent or praiseworthy, think about these things. And what you learned and received and heard and saw in me, do these things, and the God of peace will be with you. I love what Dave was saying about looking out for your neighbors and looking for opportunities to engage and to care, that historically Christians haven't run away from disaster, or they haven't run away from crisis, they've run towards it. And I think these verses really speak to that, that for us, our calling is to be the non-anxious presence in a really amped up and anxious society right now. And so to think about what these verses mean for us, to think about the fact that what Paul is saying here is that when we choose what we put into our brain, when we choose what we think about, when we choose what we focus on, it changes things not only for us, but for the people around us. It allows us to experience the peace of God that's available to us right now. But it also allows us to bring the peace of God to the people that we interact with. What a gift that we could bring that to the people around us. That all the things that we have seen and heard about and been taught by Paul and by all the other saints in the Old and New Testament, that we could put into practice and we can make an impact in our community. And so I just want to really encourage you. If you have plenty of some of the basic necessities, hoarding is not loving, friends. Sharing is. And so if you have a neighbor that is in need, share. If you know of someone that is in need and you don't feel like you can meet that need, please reach out to the church. We would love to come alongside of you and help. So during this time, as we move forward, we want to cover a couple of things, be really clear. We want you to know that even though we won't be meeting physically on Sunday morning, we will be meeting virtually online. Through all the different platforms that are available to us, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, on our website. You can access all of those links there. And we're going to be giving you opportunity to worship in the safety of your own home. And we will continue to do that until it really seems appropriate and wise to begin meeting together again. Our small groups, we have encouraged individual small group leaders to make that decision for their groups. As long as you are healthy and have no symptoms whatsoever, as long as no one in your home or family is sick, we would leave that up to you for your gathering. We think it's a really good thing to continue together, but to do so in appropriate and safe ways. And then finally, I think really use this opportunity to be the church. To be who God made you to be who God called you to be. Church, I think this is our time. This is our time in the United States to rise up and reclaim, I think nationally and globally, what it means to be a follower of Jesus. And I believe that the way we act and the way that we live in the coming days will speak volumes to that.